You're lying in bed tonight. The room is quiet. Everyone else is asleep. And for no reason you can explain, it hits you. The thought you don't invite but comes anyway. That one day you will not exist. That everything you are, every memory, every feeling, every version of yourself you've ever been will simply stop. And for a few seconds, the ceiling feels very far away and the darkness feels very large. You shake it off. You check your phone. You think about something else. But here's the thing. That moment you just had, that quiet terror in the dark, is one of the most uniquely human experiences that exists. And it is much, much younger than you think. Because most animals do not fear death the way you do. They fear pain. They fear predators. They have powerful survival instincts that make them run from danger. But the abstract awareness that death is coming, that it is inevitable, that it will happen to you personally, that there is a future moment where you will no longer be here, that requires something most animals simply do not have. It requires the ability to imagine a future. It requires self-awareness. It requires a mind that can step outside itself and observe its own existence from a distance. And that kind of mind is very new. For most of the time that life has existed on this planet, nothing was afraid of death in the way you are afraid of it tonight. Creatures died constantly. They were eaten, they starved, they froze. But they did not lie awake contemplating it. They did not build entire religions to manage it. They did not spend their lives constructing elaborate stories about what happens afterward. They simply lived until they didn't. The moment that changed is one of the most significant cognitive leaps in the entire human story. Archaeologists call it behavioral modernity. The point at which the human brain became capable of abstract thought, of symbolic reasoning, of imagining things that do not yet exist. Most evidence places this shift somewhere between 100,000 and 70,000 years ago, though some researchers push it earlier. And one of the clearest signs that this shift had happened is not cave paintings, not tools, not language. It is graves. Because when you find a grave, a deliberate one, a body placed carefully with objects arranged around it, with flowers pressed into the soil, with red ochre painted on the bones, you are not just looking at a burial. You are looking at proof that the people who made it understood something. They understood that the person in the ground was gone, that what made them that specific person, their voice, their habits, their presence in the group, was not coming back. And they found that unbearable enough to mark it. The oldest confirmed deliberate burial site is in a cave in Israel called Kafzeh. Around 100,000 years ago, a child was placed in a grave with the antlers of a deer laid carefully across the body. Someone chose those antlers. Someone arranged them. Someone stood at that grave and felt something that required more than just walking away. That feeling was the fear of death, not the instinct to flee a predator. The deeper, quieter, more devastating awareness that this happens to everyone, that it will happen to me, that there is an end coming and I cannot see past it. And once that awareness arrived, it never left. Every religion ever created is, at its foundation, a response to it. Every afterlife ever imagined, every ritual ever performed over a body, every monument ever built to make a name last longer than a life, all of it traces back to that same unbearable awareness. The one that arrived somewhere between 100,000 and 70,000 years ago in a mind that had finally become complex enough to understand its own impermanence. The fear of death did not come with being alive. It came with being conscious. It was the price of the kind of mind that could imagine the future, create language, build civilizations, and change the world. It was also the price of lying awake in the dark thinking thoughts you didn't ask for. You're not broken for having them. You're just the latest version of a mind that has been carrying this since the beginning. Every human who ever lived has stared at the same darkness. Every single one found a way to look away and keep going. That is not weakness, that is the most human thing there is.